Hello. In this video, we're going to go over solving this trig equation using factoring. So this is going to be pretty straightforward. The first thing we're going to want to do is get a zero on one of our sides, either left or right. I choose the left side to be zero here because I want my cosine squared to be positive at the end of the day. Just makes life a little easier for us at the end of the day. So these cancel, and we are left with 0 equals 2 cosine squared theta minus cosine of theta minus 1. Now, what we need to do is factor, but sometimes it's a little difficult to see this factoring. So what I do is I set y equals to cosine of theta. In this situation, I can now replace my cosine of theta with y each place. So we have 0 equals 2y squared minus y minus 1. Here we can clearly see that I can factor it using X method. And X method we know with our base of AY squared plus BY plus C, we have A times C on top, B on bottom over AY over A of Y. So we have 2 times -1, -2. -1 comes down because that's a -1 in front of the Y. My A is 2, and that's what we do. Now we need to do product sum. What multiplies to -2 and adds to -1? -2 times +1 will be -2. -2 plus 1 will be -1. Now just remember to simplify the fractions that can be simplified. This one cannot be on the right. The left one, this is what it becomes over here. And then all we need to do is rewrite denominator, keep sign, numerator, denominator, keep sign, numerator, and we just factored everything. Now that the factoring is done, we can replace our cosine. So cosine of theta minus 1 times 2 cosine of theta plus 1. And that's all going to be equal to 0. We do what we normally do at this point of all solving and factoring, is we're going to separate both of these guys and set them equal to 0. Plus 1 equals 0. Let's solving the left side first. We get cos plus 1 to both sides. And the cosine of theta is equal to 1. Now, how do we find where cosine of theta is equal to 1? Well, we know that sine or cosine are equal to 1 either at these points on the axes, right? So we see that this guy is 0, 1, here is 1, 0, here is 0, -1, and here is -1, 0. Well, we know that y is equal to the sine of x, and x is equal to sine of theta, sorry, and x is equal to the cosine of theta. So we're looking for when cosine of theta is equal to 1, which we know is at 0 degrees or 360. Looking at our domain, we are allowed to be equal to 0, but not equal to 360. So when cosine of theta is equal to 1, when theta is equal to 0. Next, we're going to solve these other one over here. -1, -1, 2 cosine of theta equals -1. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Cosine of theta is equal to -1/2. When is cosine of theta equal to -1/2? First, we're going to find the quadrants in which cosine is even negative. So what we know we have all students take calculus. Cosine is positive in all and in calculus. So now we know we are in quadrants 2 and we are in quadrants 3. Next, we need to find that reference angle. Once we find that reference angle, we'll have our degrees. Remember the chart to solve for that reference angle. The chart goes sine, cosine, tangent, 30, 45, 60. Let's build this chart a little better and faster. Now, I know I have the chart building in other videos. However, I think it's very important that if you memorize this method, you must understand how to build the chart at all times. If you have a different method to solve for the unit circle, just fast forward through this part while we build the chart. All right, so next, we know square root of 1 is 1, square root of 2, square root of 3. And we're going to put those all over 2. Cosine flips. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put y sine over cosine to solve for tangent. So it's going to be root 3 over 3, 1 root 3. So now when is cosine equal to 1/2? Cosine is equal to 1/2 here in the chart, which is 60 degrees, which is now my reference angle. So now we just have to find those the rest of the actual angles themselves. This is 180 degrees at this point. So we just do 180 minus 60, 120, 180 plus 60, which is 240. So now we have everything in degrees, but lastly, we need to convert everything into radians, and then we are done. So, oh, too small. That's much better. So what we're going to do now in our last and final steps is theta is equal to 0, and we're going to convert 120 times pi over 180. We see the zeros cancel. The top and bottom can be taken out a 6 out of them. So we'll have 2 and 3. So 2 pi over 3. And then we need to convert 240 times pi over 180. The zeros cancel, divide by 6 again. And we see this is 4 pi over 3 as our final answer. So there we go. We have degrees and finally in radians of this answer to this specific problem. If you have any other questions, please shoot me an email. Hope everyone has a great day.